How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and today I'm trying to save you from some pain. I've known a lot of people who have moved to Colorado, who wanted to enjoy the outdoor amenities, have that Rocky Mountain living, and then they moved to the wrong part of town and they never quite enjoyed it as much as they could. So today, if you love the outdoors, do not move to Denver until you watch this video. We're starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everett. Listen, there are two things we do here. One, we talk all things eating, living, breathing, experiencing the Denver Metro and Colorado Front Range. And as a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and teaming with some of the state's most talented realtors, I'm helping people like you move here each and every day. So the number and email on your screen, just know that I'm always the person, answer your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails, there when and if you need me. Now that we're done with that phone stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is if you love the outdoors and you are moving to Denver, where do you want to call home? So as quickly as I can say it, time and time again I have conversations with people who have moved to Colorado or lived in Colorado for a while. They had a certain vision of how they wanted to live here. They want to be close to the mountains, maybe they want to go skiing, they want to go hiking, mountain biking, all these different things. Maybe they want to be near certain parks, near trails, but because of where they chose to live, whether it added an extra 20, 30 minutes to their drive, whether the traffic was different, whether the work cycle, just different things impacted how much they enjoyed living in Colorado. So as people have a conversation with me about where they should end up, I want to focus on areas that are consistently rated, not just in these surveys, but by people I communicate with all the time as giving you the access you want to outdoor activities, and that people routinely tell me, living in these areas, we feel like and we enjoy living in Colorado. So having said that, and again, some of the locations of these 5, plus I got a little bonus, if you want to stick around to the end, got a little bonus area. You're not going to be surprised by the location of these suburbs. Most of them are on the western slope towards the Front Range, but we're going to talk about each of them and why they're so popular. And I begin with among the most popular suburbs of Denver when it comes to enjoying outdoor activities, and that is Golden. So Golden is located roughly 20 to 25 minutes west of Denver, usually up 6th Avenue. And Golden is genuinely elite for people who love the outdoors for a number of reasons. One, you have true Foothills base camp. Like, you feel like you're kind of in a mountain town, but yet you're not that far outside of the city. So you can finish work and you can be in, on a real trail in real mountains fast. And it actually feels like Colorado immediately. It's one of the biggest reasons Golden is as popular as it is. Second up, you've got Clear Creek, which is a lifestyle feature. It's not a scenery. Clear Creek Canyon, comes down the canyon, down into town, just making it a pretty area, great for rafting. I always have to mention that. So tubing days, creek walks, grab a coffee and wander. It really, again, gives you that mountain town rhythm right there. And again, just being in the mountains. As far as your access points, you're right there on I-70. So a lot of places where, say that you can get to the mountains quickly, with Golden, you can get to the mountains very quickly. And you've got a couple different routes. You can hit up I-70, you can hit up Clear Creek Canyon up towards Central City, a lot of different options there. Golden is also huge for climbing and biking, and the culture there is baked in. To some extent, we always like to joke that Golden is kind of like baby Boulder, but it just has a lot of those amenities. So it's not just for hiking. It's a community where climbing gyms, trail runners, weekend warriors, this is kind of the default crowd. A lot of different trails where you're going to see people running, you're going to see people on their mountain bikes. It's one of my favorite areas to go mountain biking in. Huge for that. And then the last thing I would mention is that you can have an outdoor identity without giving up civilization. So downtown Golden, you've got this walkable downtown, you've got breweries, you've got food, you've got events, because nobody wants, I guess, their only hobby to be snowshoeing. You want a little variety. So Golden has this incredible location where, as far as outdoor activities, you don't have to go very far. You can if you want to, but so many of them are right there, but you still have that civilization and just that lifestyle right there. Next up on the list, and as far as amenities, I don't know if much compares to Golden, but we have Lakewood, Colorado, where I live. And again, this is no surprise when we're talking about location. I've always said Lakewood is one of the best suburbs for just being able to blend whatever your lifestyle is. If you like the mountains, you're right there. If you like downtown, you're right there. If you like both, kind of like I do, you're right there. So with Lakewood, first and foremost, you have Green Mountain, which is the best after work fitness mountain in the metro. You can get there quick. Trails, You can mountain bike, you can run them, you can hike them, you do whatever you want. It is right there. It's not an all-day expedition, and it's not like we got to make a day of it. It's like, hey, I want to go suffer up a trail for 45 minutes after dinner. I'm right there. Lakewood is also home to Bear Creek Lake Park, which gives you variety. It's land, it's water, it's open space. When you want something different from hiking, maybe you can mix in some paddleboard days. You want a beach-ish kind of mellow day right there at Bear Creek. So some really cool outdoor activities for you right there in Lakewood. Lakewood also has very much a massive choose-your-own-adventure type geography. So you have some areas that feel a bit suburban, very suburban for that, and then you have some areas that feel like foothill adjacent. And you can kind of pick your pocket that mixes and matches your outdoor activities. Lakewood is also home to 99 parks. We like to say 100, but 99 parks. So a ton of green space. Some of the other advantages of Lakewood are, yes, you have quick access to I-70 as Golden does, but you can also hit 285, and there's certain other backdoor routes that can get you up to the mountains. So getting into the foothills doesn't always require you to deal with the weekend chaos, especially if you're heading up the mountain on Friday and coming back on Sunday. It's usually when I-70 gets messiest. Lakewood has some back roads that can get you up there. And then as far as one of its best perks is the fact that it's one of the most consistent places you're going to see. So the best outdoor life is one that you actually do weekly. Like you can actually do all the time. And Lakewood makes outdoor routine. It makes it something that you simply just do. It's not a big production. It's not a, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? It's right there that it has a lot of these activities. So one of the best pieces of feedback I get from Lakewood is that we're outside all the time doing things, and we don't have to put a ton of effort towards doing small outdoor things. Next up on the list that I'm sure no one can predict maybe is Littleton, Colorado, located south of Denver and southwest, stretching southwest. And we're really going to talk about the southwest area of Littleton. All of Littleton is spectacular. It's one of my favorite suburbs. But we're going to talk about mainly southwest, kind of Ken Carroll, the Chatfield pocket, and really outdoorsy for a number of reasons. One, you have Chatfield, which is your kind of watering space. It's the biggest one of the largest reservoirs in the Denver metro area. It may be the largest. Aurora Reservoir is pretty large itself. But you have paddle boarding, you have trails, you have biking, you have dog walks. It's got a great dog park in it. It's great for sunsets. And again, it's the kind of amenity that if you're close enough to it, it can change the way that you deal with a random Tuesday. Granted, you go there on a summer day on the weekend, it's gonna be slam packed. There's gonna be people everywhere. But a lot of days you can just go and enjoy a weekday, and Chatfield is great for that. Then you have areas like Ken Carroll, the area, you have the Hogbacks, Foothills, and legit elevation gain that's close to home. So these are paths that aren't just flat, they're just not easy going. Certainly there are some like that, but you can get some real climbs in the Ken Carroll trails up that direction. Again, this is where you're talking West Littleton, unincorporated Littleton, if you will. Some great hikes there. There's also just better access to the southern outdoor circuit. So when we're talking about areas like Roxborough, Waterton, Deckers, even getting down to the Colorado Springs foothills, Littleton gives you quick access to that. Roxborough is one of my favorite areas. It looks like something out of Jurassic Park, especially obviously in the summertime when it's like lush green with these red rocks coming right out of it. Fantastic. Waterton, Deckers is a place that always brings me back to my childhood. My dad loved to take me fishing there. He caught most of the fish. I just watched as a bored child, but I digress. So some really cool areas. And because you can get out of Littleton heading south on Santa Fe, it gives you also some quick access down to Colorado Springs without having to deal with I-25. One of the more popular things mentioned to me about Littleton is consistently the cycling and running routes. And they're strong because you get these open space corridors. So you can stitch together longer efforts without consistently stopping at stoplights or you're trying to dodge traffic, like Frogger. There's just a lot of access points, a lot of trails for biking and running. People love how much distance they can cover without having to really deal with again, any type of traffic. And the last thing I would mention about Littleton, again, similar to a Golden, is that you have the balance of that outdoor with still having a town feel. So you have downtown Littleton, breweries, bakeries, great shops, One of my absolute favorite areas. I mean, I've said it in every video I ever make. Downtown areas win me over. Littleton is among my absolute favorite. So you've got those amenities. You don't just have outdoor life without something like that. A great outdoor space to enjoy there, right there in downtown Littleton. We're staying west near the mountains, but next up we head northwest of Denver to Arvada. Again, quick access to Denver. All of these areas really do have relatively good access to Denver, or they're neighboring Denver. But Arvada, and we're really talking about west to northwest. We're talking about areas also coined Arvada in many ways. So to me, Arvada is the best outdoor access without mountain pricing compromise. So you're closer than most people realize to the Foothills access, while you're getting more house than you would in a Golden and certainly in a Boulder. Your price point is going to be much better in Arvada with many or similar amenities as far as outdoor activity. And because of its location, you've got a quick pivot to many of these outdoor activities. So you could pivot. You can go to Boulder style trails. You can go west towards the Foothills, or you could even stay local, and there's a lot of outdoor amenities there, a lot of parks, open spaces. You have one of my favorite downtown areas in Old Town Arvada, and that's for people who are outdoorsy still, but again, you want coffee, you want food, you want community, you want a place to stumble around after a trail day. Old Town Arvada is fantastic. I'd also say Arvada has less tourist push than areas, for instance, like Golden, where you will get a lot of tourists, you will get a lot of people traveling to Golden for its, for its amenities. You don't see that a lot in Arvada. It feels like most of the people in Arvada and enjoying these amenities are from Arvada, especially as you get into the trails. And these are just people that enjoy getting outside. And again, knowing that not everybody is just going to use these amenities on the weekends. You don't have to travel very far. Arvada and its outdoor activities are great for weekday adventures. It's great for families and professionals who need parks and paths and easy access. And they have a busy schedule, so they don't have the time necessarily to go a great distance to do something. It's right there. And I think that's a key component of this list in general, is that a lot of people who live in certain areas of town, they know that if they want to go on a hiking trail, they have a 45-minute to an hour drive. And all of these communities we're talking about, it's the ability to get to really cool outdoor spaces in a matter of minutes rather than a matter of close to an hour. Next up on the list is three towns that I am bunching into one because they're unique in the fact that there's a lot of overlap amongst them, and that is Lafayette, Louisville, and Superior. Now let me state, of all the areas of the Denver metro area that consistently get people's attention more than others, it seems like these three areas are just on fire. Anytime people are coming to Denver, they want to check some areas out, and I say, hey, just check out Lafayette, Louisville, and Superior. The report back tends to be extremely positive. So the number one reason a lot of people are going there is that you're buying into an outdoor ecosystem, not just a location. So you're talking about groups, meetups, trail culture, bike culture. It's easier to make outdoors a social life here because of the way the community lives and thrives. Next, the trail connectivity of Louisville, Lafayette, and Superior is fantastic. It is high functioning. You can string together routes in a way that feels intentional. It's not like these disconnected sidewalks pretending to be a trail system. They are all very well thought through. Very easy to move amongst these three areas, to get up to Boulder, to get down to Broomfield. You can really go anywhere, and they've just made it so convenient. You also have among the best locations, period. You have proximity to the Flatirons. You have proximity to the Boulder Foothills, which is a major upgrade in general. This is one of the most immediate, quality of terrain jumps you can possibly have. And again, you also have quick access down into Broomfield and down into Denver. So location is fantastic, and many people choose this area for all of its outdoor activities, for all of its quality, while still having the ability to beat a Boulder in 20 minutes for all of its additional amenities. I also hear a lot of people say that the lifestyle convenience really makes outdoor consistency easier in these areas. So we're talking about when errands, schools, daily life, they're not messy, you just kind of have things taken care of. you actually have energy left to go outside. So you have a great community that's very welcoming. You have great schools overall. You just have a really good community, very welcoming. It makes you want to go and do more things. And I'd also be clear, this is also an area that attracts the type of people who want to be outside. It doesn't tend to attract a lot of like city dwelling, indoorsy people. Not to say that you can't live there if you're that way, but it tends to just drive people who don't just own a Patagonia, they want to live that Patagonia. And I will also mention all three have a pretty cool downtown area. Louisville, Lafayette, Superior actually just built theirs, I should say. So all three great downtown areas. Lakewood, I've been telling you for years, we need a downtown area. We're the odd man out at this point. What's going on? And then to wrap up, I told you I had an outlier, and this really isn't an outlier, it really isn't a bonus, but I can't talk about living in Colorado and living somewhat near Denver without mentioning Evergreen. Evergreen, Colorado, one of my absolute favorite suburbs, and just an amazing town. Evergreen Lake, all the trails. I mean, it is mountain living. It is still considered a Denver suburb. It's roughly a 30-minute drive. If there's traffic, maybe 40 minutes west of Denver. But I mean, you really can get from Denver to Evergreen in 30 minutes. So some of the reasons people are gonna love Evergreen, among the fact that it is gorgeous, is that you live outdoors. It's not a destination anymore. This is mountain living. You have trees, you have elevation, you have wildlife, you have a real mountain air vibe. This is like your default Colorado postcard setting. Your temperature and summer comfort are going to be noticeably different. When Denver is cooking, Evergreen tends to be cooler. It's mountain living without having to be deep into the foothills. So more pleasant during the summer, certainly a bit colder, and your winters are going to be different in Evergreen. But overall, just a beautiful place to live. And you're also, as I mentioned, you're living in the mountains. You're closer to true mountain life than any of these metro picks. More so than in Golden, more so than in Ken Carroll, in West Littleton. Those are great areas and you certainly get a mountain feel, but Evergreen is living in the mountains. And then the outdoors is your community glue. I mean, at the end of the day, people up there don't just like hiking. I mean, they're there for the outdoor recreation. They're there for the lake. They're there for, yes, a really cool downtown area. They're just there for that space. The one thing that I will mention about Evergreen, and the reason that I didn't add it to my list just in general as far as our top 5 is because of the fact that Evergreen to me is a very specific type of living. Because you're in the mountains, because you're a little bit more secluded, a lot of people there are not transient, so it has, at least kind of the feedback I get, is it's tougher to kind of break into friend groups and kind of build community there because of that. Not to say it can't be done, but that is some of the feedback. So Evergreen is going to be unique from the others. It also is again, kind of out on an island. You're not that far from Denver, but you are 30 to 40 minutes. So you're not necessarily getting into the city as quickly. You're just kind of living that life there. Definitely the most outdoorsy community of all of them to me. I mean, you're not going to live in the mountains unless you love living in the mountains. But that's why I wouldn't rate it higher. That's why I would kind of put it on this bonus where it's going to appeal to certain people. But if it's not your style of living, definitely look closer to Denver and some of the suburbs there. But overall, the key point of this video is that if you're moving to Colorado and you want to enjoy Colorado living, you want to enjoy getting outside, it's important that you know where you're going to be living. Now, that's not to say that you can't live on the east side of town. It's not to say that people who live in Aurora or Parker or Central Park, don't enjoy living in Colorado or don't enjoy the mountains. There just tends to be better feedback as far as enjoying the outdoors from the communities I mentioned today. And I'd love to hear some of yours because I know there's going to be some folks who say, wait, what about Centennial? What about Castle Rock? What about Erie? There's some other communities that might come up. I'd love to hear your thoughts, whether it's in the comments, whether it's hitting me up in a phone call, on a text, knowing that I'm always the person answering those. Until then, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everett. That was If You Love the Outdoors, Do Not Move to Denver Until You Watch This. Until I see you next time, peace.